Hey guys, Pete here. It's going to be my Twin Peaks Season 3, Part 16 Top Moments recap. Spoiler warning, this will ruin the episode completely if you watch this and you haven't seen it yet, so don't watch if you haven't watched Part 16. So what an episode this was. It's kind of crazy when you think about it because it was non-stop action for the most part, but really not that much happened. I mean, if you compare it to some of the other really exciting episodes, I mean, not that much different things actually happened. The things that happened, that they were really big and it was fantastic. But yeah, there isn't a lot of different stuff. It was the number of individual storylines has been compressed, and I think it's a really nice setup for the ending. So the first big moment for sure was Evil Coop and Richard Horne. We don't exactly get that father-son talk that we hoped for, but we do get an end to Richard's storyline. Evil Coop tells him he has coordinates. He has 3 different. 2 are the same, and they both lead them to this rock in the field somewhere. He has Richard go and look. Jerry Horne comes out of the woods at the right time to see this all go down, although he can't really work the binoculars. So it's not entirely clear if he understood who was there or not, but sure enough, Richard goes up onto the rock to the place where he was led, most likely by Philip Jeffries, and he gets zapped and is disappeared from the earth as far as we can tell. And the next big moment was as Coop is walking away, he says, "Goodbye, my son," which I guess doesn't really explain anything except for that he's probably his dad. We also see Evil Coop try to send a text. It doesn't send right away, but it's just a smiley face emoticon, and it says all in capital letters. We assume that he's sending it to Diane, and later on we have that verified. Dougie Coop, who we suspect is probably the real Coop again, is in a coma at the hospital. We see Janey-E and Sonny Jim there. Bushnell shows up, and then eventually the Mitchum brothers with Candy and crew are all in the room. The Mitchums give food to the family and then head off over to their house where we know that Hutch and Chantal are posted up waiting for Dougie to come back so they can kill him. We also know that the FBI has stopped by and found out no one was home and that they left behind Wilson to watch over to see what's happening. This leads to a colossal moment when a random neighbor of Janey-E and Dougie's shows up and he doesn't like where Hutch and Chantal are parked. They don't back down in light of the situation, and it ends up in a shootout where he ends up killing them both. And so no more Cheetos, no more banter, no more Hutch and Chantal at all. It was a pretty good closing scene for these two. Both actors did a great job of playing disaffected killers, professionals, if you will. And it's kind of fitting because we saw how good they were at what they did in planning things out, and it would be this kind of thing that would take them out in the end. The Mitchum brothers were also there, and it was hilarious to me whenever they were talking, and, they're watching this guy spray the van that those 2 are in, and Rodney just sort of looks over at Bradley and is like, people are under a lot of stress. Yeah, it was just perfect, you know what I mean? These guys are hardened gangsters who are dropping off food at their friend Dougie's house because they know his family's going through a hard time. It was just pretty perfect all the way around. Then we go back to the hospital for the payoff that everybody's been waiting for. Janey-E and Sonny Jim go off to the bathroom. Bushnell hears a noise and sort of gets distracted and leaves the room, and Mike shows up, and we finally see Agent Cooper wake up, and whenever he says, "You're awake," he says 100%, and things are back to normal, finally, just at the end. Now, Mike warns him that the other guy, Evil Coop, hasn't gone back in, and it seems that Agent Cooper understood what was going on, even though he wasn't able to act normally whenever he was with this situation. Like, he seems to understand what's going on. He takes some hair and he gives it to Mike and tells him he needs another seed, is what I took it as. I mean, he could have said he needs another doppelganger, but I'm not really sure. To me, it seemed like he was talking about the little golden orb, which he called a seed, and that he needed another one of those. Bushnell comes back and we get our first real Agent Cooper experience in 25 years, and it's pretty awesome. He thanks him for his help. He tells him he's a good man. He borrows his gun, tells them to call the Mitchums. They're waiting on call to get their jet gassed up and ready to go to Spokane. And then Agent Cooper goes outside, gets in the car, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, it was cool to see the family, but you kind of had that aching feeling like what's going to happen to Janey and Sonny Jim now that this has gone down. So it was a really nice kind of thing. Like, you're really excited that Cooper's back, but you're also kind of like feeling for this family that you've known who literally did take care of him for the last 15 weeks of us viewing. It's kind of too fast in a way, but that's what we're just going to have to live with that because we've got 2 hours to go and I'm hoping it'll basically be a Dale Cooper fest from that point on. I mean, I was personally completely floored when the Twin Peaks theme music started to play and he started to talk. I know a lot of people were going crazy waiting for this to happen, but I think it was pretty damn satisfying at the end of the day. As they're driving off, he explains where they're going after a heartfelt goodbye, like a legitimate heartfelt goodbye with Sonny Jim and Janey-E. We really don't know how that's going to end up. I mean, he tells them that he loves them and thanks them. We can see that their hearts are breaking. And even though he tells them that he'll be back, I don't really know that's what we're supposed to assume or not. But there was another good scene in the car whenever he's talking to Bradley and Rodney. He tells them that he's been witness to the fact that they have hearts of gold in typical Agent Dale Cooper fashion. And he explains that they're going off to Washington and that everybody's going along. So that's all really good in my book as far as I'm concerned. The next big thing that happens is we did see Gordon earlier. He was kind of monitoring what was going on. And then we get a scene of Diane who gets the text message and it's almost like she goes haywire. We can't really tell what's going on. She's clearly stressed out though. She goes upstairs. She's standing outside. Gordon tells her to come in. And then she starts to explain that night when she last saw Cooper. We find out that she did actually get raped by Evil Coop, and then she says that he took her to a gas station, but it kind of sounded like the convenience store. And then things started to get mixed up, and she starts to freak out, and eventually she pulls a gun, but Tammy and Albert are ready, and they shoot her, and she disappears. Only to rematerialize later in front of Mike inside the red room, where he says the same thing he said to Dougie, that you've been manufactured, and the same things happens. We see the golden seed, the golden ball come out, and what was great about Diane's is that instead of just sitting there quietly like Dougie did, she got one last fuck you in there before it was all said and done. So she did get that text. We don't really understand how that works. Tammy did point out the idea that she was a tulpa, that tulpas were real. She disappeared just like we heard about the other case number 1 of the Blue Rose Task Force. So I don't know if we're going to learn any more about that or not. I mean, it was pretty bizarre, and she wasn't wearing the ring like the other ones were, so I don't know. At the end of the day, we found out that Evil Coop has been busy in the last 25 years, and it seems that most of what he was busy with was staying out of the Black Lodge. So I don't know if we're any closer to understanding what the nature of Evil Coop is, like what he is planning for the end game, but we can see that he is influential on all the stories that we've been sort of watching on the outside of this thing. We finally see Eddie Vedder playing at the Roadhouse. He plays the song Out of Sand that was released before the season started. It kind of had a feeling like, is this going to be the end? Are you kidding me? But then we see Audrey walk in, and this seems like a big reveal of her not actually being somewhere else. Until after he's done playing, the MC comes back out and he just says, Audrey's dance. The old music from the early scene of her, isn't this music too dreamy, and the dance, all of that, the big callback to the early part of this entire franchise is going on, and we know that can't be real, or we think it can't be real, and then we hear someone come into the place, scream, that's my wife, run over, start a fight, and Audrey stops dancing, runs over to Charlie and says, get me out of here, and she ends up in a white room staring into a mirror, and this all seems, we hear the electrical sounds as well. So this all seems to go back to Evil Coop as well, although we don't know for sure. But it also talks about what I was saying in my What's Up with Audrey video. It seems like she is stuck somewhere else. So I don't know if we have any more clarification about anything about what that is by seeing her in a white room with a mirror, but she's clearly stuck in some other kind of plane of existence, and it's probably related directly to Evil Coop. And since we heard him say that Richard was his son, well, you can get that there's a connection there. And that's pretty much it for the big moments. There were some great little bits of dialogue. I loved it whenever Candy came out with they really do, whenever Coop was talking about the golden hearts. Classic Agent Dale Cooper whenever Bushnell asks him about the FBI and he turns around and says, I am the FBI. Chantal and Hutch was really funny, little back and forth they had there. And the guy with the car was crazy. Like, that was a really out there kind of thing that happened. So yeah, you know the drill. Like the video if you enjoyed it. There'll be more to come this week. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter. Leave some comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Dale is back. Agent Cooper is back. And we only have 2 hours left. So I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.